So things are looking good for us, for our movement. Don't you doubt it for 1 second. And one of the biggest indications of this fact, look, I've never been an ankle biter. I'm not an ankle biter. Could get a lot of clout being an ankle biter. I did one video about Hasan Piker once, I think maybe twice, I don't know. One was not serious. I did one serious video about Hasan Piker my entire life. I'm not an ankle biter because I'm not built that way. I wasn't raised to be an ankle biter, okay? But we have to observe the trends that's going on and how we're going to be impacted by it. Why is ACP as under attack as it is right now? Because we're lined up. We're up next. Everyone's looking at us as the alternative because nobody has an alternative to the thing that Piker is pushing. That's us. So we are on the come up. The spotlight is on us, a little prematurely, actually, if you think about it, or maybe right on time. The spotlight is on us. The energy is with us. Everybody's looking at us. We have the momentum, and ACP is up next. And whether we're ready or not, we're up next, and everybody's going to be looking to us for the alternative, because there is no other alternative. I want to stress that. There's no other alternative. There's a civil war going on in the ranks of Hasan Piker. You may not know about it, but it's actually real. It's actually happening. Hasan Piker's OGs that used to like glaze him, I'm actually fucking shocked. Twitter accounts that used to be like part of the Hasan horde are turning on him, and he's actively like embroiled in a civil war. Like he's actively fighting against these people on X. I'm going to show you everything. We're going to do a whole breakdown of what's going on. And as somebody who's been on the kind of sidelines, I've never been part of the Hasan horde. I'm kind of just looking at this with bewilderment a little bit and just kind of like, very interesting. I don't know which side, it may seem obvious which side that we're on. Of course we're against the Democratic Party. Of course we're against the liberal Zionist tendencies that Hasan has and so on and so on. But I look at a lot of these people used to, like the Flacco guy, right? I don't know if you know the Flacco guy, the guy who impersonates ASAP Rocky or whatever. That guy, these are like OG ops. And they're turning on Hasan over the Democratic Party. This is like a widespread sentiment. It's starting to affect him. It's starting to absolutely divide the Hasan Piker community. And this is not like 2020. This is like something I've never fucking seen before. And everything points to us as the alternative. Whether we like it or not, we are going to be really intensely judged in the coming months because we are going to be the face of what it looks like to build an alternative to the Democratic Party. The pressure is on us. The reason people are scrutinizing our membership, expecting that we had 10,000 or 20,000 or something when we only have 1,000. The reason that's happening is people are genuinely contemplating us as an alternative. They're thinking about us. Well, what's going on with the ACP? What's going on with ACP, right? What's the whole ACP thing? There's no one else. There's no one else. There's no one else. There's no other force that has a pulse on the era we live in better than ACP. I've been here for a long, long time. I'm going to tell you the truth, okay? You got a tiny minority of ultras who are pushing the APL. I find it amusing. I've always found it amusing. The APL people, the Albanian Party of America or whatever. That party is run by some old people that are not too bad, but there's a younger generation of about 10 to 12 people who have joined it and are very loud on Twitter. They're not going anywhere, though. I'm sorry. This tweeting that they're doing, it doesn't reflect the dynamism of an institution. ACP, you could say that we're online and we're cutting edge on social media, but our organization is actually that dynamic. It's young, it's fresh, it's dynamic. It's not run according to institutional principles that are born in the 20th century. We are a party of the 21st century. There's nothing that can compare to us. Nobody has from scratch started a party or started an organization like the ACP that is led by young voices, that is organized according to the principles of a new generation and a new era that we live in. There's absolutely nothing that's coming close, and we've known that for a long time. The Zoran Mamdani phenomena was a major, giant distraction. Everyone could see it was a huge distraction. People are starting to realize and get sick of the strategy of constantly pushing Democrats. And the dam is about to break, so to speak, for the ACP. We are going to reap the rewards of this civil war, whether we like it or not. I'm not saying this with delight. I'm not an ankle biter. I've always said I've never hated Hasan Piker, nor have I ever understood the hatred for him. You know, Hasan Piker doesn't owe us anything. I don't know why people think he owes us anything. He doesn't claim to be a communist, from what I understand. He has never claimed or repped Marxism-Leninism himself. He did that thing where he's reading Lenin or whatever. But when has Hasan Piker ever claimed to be one of us? Hasan Piker has always been a Democrat. He's always been a very spicy Democrat. And that's why I can't really hate him, because, well, when has Hasan Piker... I think that the time that I really didn't like Hasan Piker, and I still don't like him for this, was the force to vote thing. The break with Jimmy Dore. That's where Jackson and I were like, enough of Hasan Piker. It wasn't because we were holding Hasan to a standard that he never signed up for. It was because we thought this new opportunist turn of the Democratic Socialists and AOC and stuff, they're going in the direction of Hitler for sure. Autistic, what's up? And so I don't understand the hatred per se. I think he would be a very valuable ally when he inevitably has that change of heart. I've always tried to be civil. Hasan Piker, he's very, you know, it's like the Katy Perry song, that you're hot and you're cold. You know, he has a hot and cold attitude toward our party and our movement. Mecca Reb, what's up? Appreciate you. But I never you know why I want to avoid hatred of Hasan Piker, honest to God? I feel like a lot of it's rooted in jealousy for his money, his fame, his natural advantages. Let's be honest. How could I, a 5'8" man, hate Hasan Piker? It would just kind of be a very bad look. It would just seem like I am the Afro-Asiatic, Middle Eastern Mediterranean man who is jealous of him. You know, it's just kind of not. I have to be above that pettiness. You know, because there's some competitions where Hasan wins. He wins the height competition. He does win that competition, and you know what? God bless him for it. He would be a very valuable ally. I will say that. But I cannot bring myself to be jealous, or I can't bring myself to be a hater. It seems like it's just the wrong move to be a hater. You know, I have to just be honest. Let's be like realistic, you know? And good for him for all the things. He's got money, he's got fame, he's whatever, and he doesn't really owe us anything. But he would be a very valuable ally, I will say that. He would be a very, very valuable ally of our movement. But now he's embroiled in a civil war. He's getting a lot of pressure from the left. Somebody's saying, tall people don't live, they live shorter lives. He doesn't win. I do think that when you are, maybe this is cope. I do feel like when you're taller, there's an elongation of energy that happens. When you're shorter, it's like there's so much concentrated energy that goes into you. It's like all the energy is just being concentrated, and you're like shaking with energy. You have so much potential. That's why all the greatest conquerors in world history, let's be honest, none of them were quite tall. They were all quite vertically challenged, actually. You have Napoleon, you have Genghis Khan, you have Alexander the Great. All the people that were just like regarded as the great man of history, so to speak. Has to be a Lysenkoist scientific reason. And then I kind of blame, you know why I blame for my height? I blame the fact that I became a Marxist at 12. Because I put all my points in my brain. I started autistically focusing on theory, and I just I had to make my head expand, and that came at the expense of my limbs, perhaps. I got early puberty. You know, from a young age, I had to embrace being a man, because of what the price that comes with choosing the revolutionary path. And I don't know, guys. So I can't say it's I can't say that it's something worth being self-pitying about. There are advantages to being vertically challenged, but at the same time, Hasan Piker is just he's always been a good look for the left. Let's just be honest. He's always been a good look for the left. And you know what? I am a Lysenkoist. I am a Lysenkoist. Okay? And what does that mean? It means I can't think that in his heart of hearts he's a bad person. I can't think that in his heart of hearts he's a bad person. He cannot in his heart of hearts be a fundamentally bad person. Otherwise, he would look like your average typical leftist. He cannot look the way he does and be fundamentally bad. You know, the looks maxers, they call it the halo effect, but there's a Lysenkoist reason for that. It's a reflection of the soul. You understand? So there has to be something about Hasan Piker that's good, because it's impossible. He's fundamental. And you know what? I'm going to give him some credit here. I'm going to go ahead and show you. I have to find all this shit. I have to go from the very beginning. Okay. The Build the Vanguard King, right? Build the Vanguard King. Everyone got upset about that. Oh, yikes. He did the love democratic socialist thing. Hold on. Let me find this shit. Did you guys see that? The Build the Vanguard King thing. I have to show that to you. Okay? So, let's I do judge people by how they look. And Hasan Piker, I'm not even saying like purely on physical looks. The way he talks and carries himself, he seems like he's just very confused. Maybe I'm wrong. So anyway, this is the start of Hasan Piker starting to interact with the people to his left who are getting in his head for sure. They're getting in his head. They're bothering him. He's very bothered by it. This is something for sure that's happening. And, okay, I will say there is somewhat a core of authenticity here. Everyone is so confused because, like, Haz, this is your opportunity to move in and wage war against Hasan Piker. Lead the charge against Hasan Piker. Attack Hasan Piker. You know, this is the time. This is the time that we mobilize. We rise up. We attack the Hasan Piker empire. We shatter it while it's weak and while it's down. This is our movement. This is what we've been waiting for. Right? And I know you guys are riled up and you're excited just hearing those words. You want to plunder and attack the Hasan Piker Khanate, or the Khaganate, or the empire of Hasan Piker. I know you're deeply excited by that prospect. I know that you're ready to roll. You're ready to rumble. You're ready to mount the attack. But you have to trust. A little bit, at least. You have to trust. You have to trust in my wisdom a little bit when I say, yes, we could, for sure. But I am clocking Piker for now as more valuable as an eventual long-term ally than an enemy, someone we want to turn into a total enemy right now. And I'll tell you why. We could very much use Piker when we inevitably face off against the very real, I'm talking about the real, you know, the neoliberal type, neoconservative far right that is talking about hunting and killing communists and so on and so on. Eventually, there's going to be a confrontation with those people. That's just inevitable. I'm just going to tell you the truth. Those people are coming for all of us. And I would prefer, and I think that Hasan Piker doesn't have what it takes to sell out so deeply that when push comes to shove and the woke Reich emerges, I don't think he has it within him to sell out. I think he's going to be there with us, perhaps, fighting against it. And he's making a lot of stupid mistakes right now. He's definitely wasting a lot of time because we all know that eventually he's going to be kicked out and he's going to be expelled from this Democrat, whatever, momentum. But I have to tell you guys something. We're going to need all the allies we can get when the confrontation with the right, I'm talking about the new right that's emerging. I'm not talking about people like Jake Shields and even people like Dan Bilzerian and stuff like that, or MTG or whatever. I'm talking about the newly emerging, like, I'm noticing it's like a new neoconservative Drew Pavlou type of, you know, hawkish right wing, the people that are like really cumming their pants over Venezuela and Cuba being invaded and shit. The captive, like they are actually building up a fascist movement in this country. Richard Spencer was leading the charge, by the way. But a lot of these people who were cheering me on when the feds came after me, guys, eventually we're going to be in the same boat as Hasan Piker. You have to face it. And I'm thinking in a very long-term sense. He's making a lot of stupid, foolish moves right now, I think. Wasting time with the Democratic Party. But on the other hand, we are eventually going to be in the same boat. And I'm not talking about him personally. I'm not talking about him personally, okay? I'm talking about the illiberal movement that he represents. He represents thousands and thousands of people. You have to understand this. A guy who gets 20, 30,000 concurrent fucking live stream views, that's a lot of pull. You know, my typical pull is I get about 500, maybe 1,000 concurrent on a good day, on a great day, 500 to 1,000, right? And you have to understand that pull, a lot of that energy went into the ACP. Look how fucking like up the ACP is. Look how much energy is in the ACP, right? A lot of that has its origins in the infrared community. I have never ever been a person who has 5,000 concurrent viewers. I've never been a person with 10,000. Matter of fact, if 5,000 people started watching the stream right now, this happens sometimes, by the way, when I get flooded with fucking viewers, I start fucking kind of being like, can you guys just go away? Like, who the fuck are you? I'm going to self-critique on that, by the way. Every time I get flooded with viewers, I feel fucking awkward. Like, who the fuck are these people? Please get out of here. And we are kind of we're stuck at the view count that we're at. I'm going to be honest, because of me. And I have to self-critique about that. I'm too comfortable with the community that I have. Whenever I get like 1,000 or whenever I get 1,500 viewers, right? Every time it's happened, I've always been deeply uncomfortable. I've always been like, who the fuck are you people? I don't know who the fuck you are. I don't know how to talk to you. I don't fucking know you. Can you fuck off and leave, right? That's always been like my attitude. I'm like, I know for a fact that you guys aren't all woke in like the good infrared sense. I know for a fact not everyone who joins past 1,000 is like infra woke or whatever, right? So I'm just kind of like, hey, I don't know how to like tailor my stream to you kind of people. Can you fuck off, right? And it's my fault for sure. If I wanted, honestly, I could become a more like broad appeal streamer like Jackson or whatever. But it's just like, I like the exclusivity of having people that I know my ride or dies. Like, I want to be here with the fucking people that I know are part of my army, part of the horde, part of the people who are genuine true believers about some real ass shit. I want to know people are brain rotted enough by the infrared vision that they understand all of our inside jokes, all of our memes, all of our fucking, like, things that we... Like, those are the only people I fuck with. I don't want, like, random fucking normies to watch me because none of them know anything, like, about the lore. They don't know anything about our history. They don't know our traditions. They don't know our... We have a specific culture, and honestly, I'm almost, like, racist. I'm racist toward these people. It's like we have our own culture and civilization that we built. Outsiders, who the fuck are you? I don't know who the fuck you are. You're second-class citizen in our army, in our kingdom. Like, you're not welcome here. You're an outlander. You need to go. Like, we need to build our culture. You guys want to grow the streams and stuff, grow the movement. We have to expand our culture, because I will not tolerate having to even deal with people who don't fucking get it, who aren't in on the lore, we need to, like, build up infrared lore. We need to, like, make out YouTube essays that cover infrared lore, that talk about, like, the things that have happened in our movement, all the characters and stuff, because it's like, I don't want to explain shit to people, right? The gatekeepers won. Yeah, that's true, actually. That's fucking true as fuck. Maybe I should self-criticize on that. But the gatekeepers won. The gatekeepers of our community have won. Like, I fuck with the gatekeepers. And you know why? Because the gatekeepers have learned my weakness. They make me laugh. The gatekeepers of infrared, they make me laugh. They bring joy. They make me smile. They make me laugh. They bring me keg W's. And honestly, they win. The gatekeepers win because they make me laugh. You know? I don't have fun with the outsiders. They're not as fun. They're not as like cool. I kind of get, I'm like annoyed at. I see them as subhuman in a lot of ways. You know, they come and they have stupid fucking questions like, how is China socialist? I'm like, you're a fucking retard. I don't even want to talk to you. You're like actually a retard. They come like, how is the Persian Empire socialist? I'm like, how is Islam and Marxism? I'm like, bro, why are you talking to me? I've become so arrogant and snobbish and aristocratic and shit, you know? You can even see that in the TikTok debates. By the way, I want to say another thing. One of the reasons I think a subathon tonight is possible, or it's viable, I should say, is because I've been growing on TikTok. Slowly, yeah, but my live count on TikTok is starting to double. Like, you guys are here on Kick. Stay on Kick. I'm doing the TikTok to grow outsiders. I'm starting to get regulars on TikTok who are not part of the guerrilla army who watch me. And I used to kind of average on the 40, and now I'm kind of averaging 100 now. And I feel like it's going to keep growing and growing. And soon, my TikTok live viewers are going to be like 95% people outside the guerrilla army who, with enough time, will eventually be turned into guerrillas, right? So it's actually a pretty nice pipeline that I'm building on TikTok. And it's because of the consistency of the TikTok debates and the TikTok streams. It's like I'm building from the ground up. And eventually I might have more live concurrent people on TikTok than I do on Kick, you know? Like, once you break, I think, the 150, 200 concurrent on TikTok, it starts to just grow and grow and grow and grow, right? And then eventually you'll have a regular audience. Like, most of my audience on TikTok right now are right-wing retards and other, like, stupid retard people. But because they're tuning in so regularly, I already know for a fact they're going to flip and they're going to become guerrillas. Like, it's always, that's how most, I remember the pipeline to being a guerrilla. Like, that's how it happens. Most people that tune in are kind of hostile, or they're neutral, or ambivalent. But because of the consistency of tuning in and making a habit of it, they eventually just join us, right? So that's why we're going to be doing the TikTok debates tonight. And they're doing pretty good, actually. I have to be careful about getting the live restricted, because that's the one thing that's killing my growth and my momentum on TikTok, you know? So, yeah, I'm definitely tapping into something on TikTok. Anyway, let's keep talking about the Hasan civil war that's going on, right? I just wanted to kind of get into that because, I wanted to talk about the differences with Hasan's community and ours and stuff. Anyway, he commands a viewership about 20, 30,000 concurrent people. That's a lot of people. And he's got some pull. So when shit hits the fan, as far as the confrontation we know is going to happen, they're going to try to come after us. I'm talking about this new cuck-conservative piece of shit nihilist right. We are going to want to build the biggest coalition that we can to resist them. It's like Nick Fuentes, Richard Spencer, the neo-conservatives. They're all going to be on one team. They're all going to be calling for us to be killed or jailed or something like that. So maybe we could put together a coalition. We could potentially put a coalition of Jake Shields, Hasan Piker, maybe Sneeko or something. I don't know where he stands, to be clear. He seems like he's got a good personal friendship with Nick Fuentes. Obviously Nick Cruz, the Revolutionary Blackout Network. We just put together this big coalition. All my hatred and anger for these Democrat retard shills was in 2021. I become numb. I become so numb to it. So when people are asking, Haz, why are you not taking the opportunity to crush and destroy Hasan Piker or get in on this and attack him? I'll just say, well, because at this point, I did that to BreadTube already. And Hasan Piker is... You destroy Hasan, let's say you destroy Hasan Piker, right? In that case, what's left? It's better to have a strong, large ally, potential ally, who will be in the same boat as us when we eventually confront the neoconservative right. And I'm not surprised by him being a Democrat shill or whatever. You think it's a loss? Maybe it's a loss in some sense, but we're too late. We are far too late. We need to build a giant coalition right now. Trust me when I say that, okay? It's going to get really ugly in this country very soon. We are being targeted. We are being attacked. Advocates of anti-imperialism are being attacked. People who are pro-Venezuela or were pro-Venezuela, pro-Cuba, pro-Iran, we're being hunted. And it's that we're not I see it coming. Jake Shields, even Dan Bilzerian, even Candace Owens, Tucker, like these people that are associated with the right wing, I see the moves that are being made against them to eventually label them as traitors, label them as foreign agents, persecute them, and try to build as much popular consensus against them as possible. And it's going to be off the backs of this neo-nihilistic, like, you can call it whatever you want. It's a neo-fascist, nihilist, neo-conservative right wing. People who are saying, oh, you know, it's might is right. They always use these Diddy ideologists who are obsessed with talking about rape. You know, when Maduro was captured, there was so much sexual, weird rape fantasies these people were pulling. They loved to see this old man, you know, tied up or whatever. It was like really Diddy-fied, you know? And these people are nihilists. These people are actual fucking nihilists. And they are absolutely, you know, the captive dreamer types and others. This is like a cannibalistic, weird, satanic thing that's emerging. And we're going to need to muster as much forces as we can to the confrontation's inevitable. It's not going to last. You know? Have you tried to reach out to them personally? No, I got to tell you guys, I have a very long-term vision. I see where things are headed. I see how things are going to play out. And short-term, yeah, let's rage against Hasan Piker for being a Democrat shill for sure, you know. But long-term, you know, I'm seeing ahead. I'm seeing where things are going. And I remember something when Nick Fuentes started beefing with Piker. Remember the Nick Fuentes, they were all attacking Piker and shit, right? And then Nick Fuentes was attacking us at the same time. So Hasan Piker, remember this, something I'm not going to forget. He instantly said, as soon as Fuentes started going after Piker, he said, we got to stick the ACP guys on them. It was an immediate acknowledgement of the fact that he knows we alone are the foundation of how to confront the neoconservative right. That's us. And I'm not simply, you know, leftists are so muddled because they don't understand these different tendencies emerging. They think Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes are the same thing. No, they're not. They think Richard Spencer and Tucker Carlson are the same thing. No, they're not. You know, they think Richard Spencer and Jake Shields are the same thing. No, they're not. Okay? People like Jake Shields, people like, you know, Tucker, Candace, they are against the regime. Okay? They're against the actions of the regime abroad. They are genuinely opposed to the regime. Okay? People like Spencer and Nick Fuentes and whatever, they're trying to build new morale for the regime to make it even stronger than it is among the population. They're trying to build the necessary consensus to make the regime strong and powerful, right? In the long term, those are our enemies. I'm just telling you the truth. In the long term, those are the people we're going to have the final confrontation with, you know? And we have to be extremely ruthlessly pragmatic about how we maneuver in the coming 5 years or so, right? Amila with the 10, what's going on? Appreciate you. Confrontation is absolutely inevitable. I'm just telling you for a fact it's inevitable, right? These people want to see us dead. They want to kill us. I'm not talking about these retarded, suicidal, you know, leftists in the Albanian American Party who are just suicidal retards who don't... Forget these people. They're nothing. The real people who want us dead, those are the captive dreamer types, the Drew Pavlou types. They want to kill us. It's life or death. They want to kill. They want to kill. You understand? These are the people. They want to use the full force of the state to crush us. They are salivating. They have wet dreams about using the force of the U.S. regime to persecute and do harm to us. Do you understand? Those are the people you have to keep your eyes out for, eyes peeled for. I'm a pragmatist. If Hasan Piker, he's like Roosevelt, I'm like Stalin. Stalin had to ally with Roosevelt against a more immediate and present danger, right? So when that time comes, we're going to probably have to ally with Hasan Piker. It's just the truth. You know? I'm telling you guys, I have a very far-reaching vision. You may not understand it now. Haz, why are we not leading the charge against Piker? Why are we not? Because I have a very far-reaching vision about this shit. I understand the balance of forces, okay? I understand the balance of forces and where they are right now. And I'm thinking long-term. Short-term, I'm not saying to be uninvolved. I'm not telling you to do anything. Okay, I'm just telling you, this is a complicated fucking situation. I mean, I'm with Nick Cruz. I'm with the principled people calling Hasan Piker out. Don't get me fucking wrong. I'm with them. And I will continue to amplify them and spread their message to the high heavens, okay? But my angle that I'm coming from is I don't want to destroy Piker. I want there to be like a rational lobby within the Piker community. Not us. Don't do this work yourselves, guys. We're not Piker fans. But I want there to emerge within the Piker community a rational voice that lobbies for breaking with the Democrats. And when Hasan Piker eventually gets kicked out of the Democratic Party, you know what? I want him to have plausible deniability. You guys may fucking freak out that I'm saying this. When Hasan Piker, when all of it blows up in his face, what I want him is to have an out. I want him to be like, okay, I'm going to pursue a different strategy now. Because he's more useful to us alive than dead, so to speak. Do you understand? It's going to be inevitable that the Democrats kick his ass out. When that happens, do we want him to tap out and get demoralized and fucking be gone? Or do we want him to have an out and like, oh, okay, I kind of saw this as possibly coming. Here's my contingency plan. I'm going to join this coalition, right? If he brings his giant following and his giant audience and to that coalition, that's good for us. Whereas if Hasan Piker balkanizes, which is what's happening right now, it's probably going to happen. He's going to balkanize. He's going to balkanize for sure, okay? That's what's happening. He's balkanizing. It's a civil war. There's a balkanization of the Hasan Piker community going on right now. Who is going to like be the dominant force? Who's going to be if Hasan Piker's empire balkanizes? Where is that going to go? What's the district? I feel like, you know what I'm fucking worried about? I'm worried that the majority are going to go straight to the Drew Pavlou captive dreamer, liberal left, Kat Abu Ghazala, and there's going to be no prominent voice. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say some shit. Piker, for no reason that has anything to do with grassroots pressure, has pro-China views. That's literally just him being autistic. He is autistically pro-Soviet Union, and he has autistically motivated pro-tanky tendencies that come from his own autism. Do you guys have a fucking understanding of what that means? That means when he's taken out, or if he's taken out, it's not inevitable that from his community there's going to rise those tanky tendencies. It doesn't come from his community. In fact, the tanky tendencies in his community, I think they come from him. It's only because of his own autism of wanting, like LARPing the, Red Army and shit. That's where it comes from. Okay? So we are China right now, and we're looking at the dissolution of the Soviet Union. That's the truth. And the Chinese did not want to see the Soviet Union dissolved. They were starting to be like, okay, look, we've had our differences with you. We disagree with you vehemently, but you should start fixing your shit and not collapse the whole fucking thing, right? I'm Deng Xiaoping right now, and Hasan is going the way of Gorbachev. Do I want to see the 20,000, 30,000 live concurrent audience that's being pumped with tanky propaganda here or there sprinkled with it? Do I want to see that totally destroyed and scattered to the winds? Well, we could definitely maneuver and survive that situation for sure. But I would prefer that Piker just fixes his shit and brings his massive empire to us. And, that's what I would prefer, so that we could take on the clear and present danger, the enemy that's at our gates, so to speak. And maybe I'm committing a massive blunder. Ones if you think I'm committing a blunder. Genuinely, tell me if you think I'm committing a blunder. I'm going off a limb. You can think I'm going on a blunder. Jennifer, hold on. Jennifer thinks I'm making a blunder. I care what Jennifer thinks. Jennifer, what do you think? Where do you think I'm missing? I appreciate Jennifer's wisdom on this matter. My finger slipped. Wow, what the hell? Okay. Interesting. You see, my gorillas, this makes sense to me. I see many different oscillations and possibilities, but I have to choose. I have to choose what makes sense to me. I have to choose what makes sense in consideration of what I know about how the future is unfolding. And I'll tell you how it could blow up in my face. I could tell you how this could be a massive blunder. If Piker becomes a cat Abu Ghazala, let's say Piker helps the Democrats win, they have a high chance of winning, and then Piker does a 180 and he abandons all of his principles. He becomes a cat Abu Ghazala. He becomes between a full-on Hitler hawk, or he starts to kind of tiptoe around the fucking obvious and starts to just lie to our faces. So that, let's say when the Democrats win the House and the Senate, or God forbid, President AOC or something, and AOC is going on her Hitler campaign against Russia and China, Hasan's going to be like, look, the left is about losing and there's nothing we could do. I would say, what a massive, massive wasted like, here's what I think would be a fucking disaster about my appraisal, my strategic appraisal of Piker, right? What if Piker sells out so much that he saves his own ass from the captive dreamer AOC woke Reich, so that he's not going to be targeted in the way that we are? Then I would be making a big fucking mistake. I would be making a big fucking mistake if he saves his own ass and the rest of us get fucking slaughtered, so to speak, or thrown to the wolves. We're not going to be slaughtered. We're going to be thrown to the wolves. We're going to be in the wilderness. We're going to be raised among the wolves. We're going to have an army of wolves. And on horseback, we will be the most brutal, menacing force ever seen on this continent. In any case. But if he simply scatters, and if he ends up in the same boat as us, best case scenario, and if he does, we want him to be as effective as he can be in terms of having the pull that he has, having the... And some people say, well, Haz, on a moral level, he doesn't deserve it. On a moral level, he deserves to be punished. On a moral level, Hasan Piker deserves the retribution of heaven. He followed and tailed the Democrats. He should be buried with the Democrats. But, you know, well, some people say that. They genuinely say that. And that's the position of many of the people he's beefing with, that Hasan Piker is morally bankrupt and he deserves the retribution of heaven. And what I will say is, well, what about his viewer base? What about his audience? Could we thrive in circumstances where he balkanizes and his audience is thrown to the wind and they're pulled in every which direction? Maybe. I think we could potentially. We'll absorb a huge contingent of them for sure. But isn't it better for us strategically that they remain unified and then just join us? Wouldn't that be better strategically? I don't know. I mean, a lot of this isn't in our hands. A lot of this just isn't in our hands. And by the way, I want to ask the question. This is my question about the Hasan Civil War balkanization that's happening. Who's going to be the new leader? Is it going to be me? Am I going to replace Hasan Piker? I'd be honored. I'd be honored. But the truth is that I am better suited toward having an elite. Like, I'm Genghis Khan. I don't want to be the most popular guy ever. I want to have a core band of elite janissaries under my command. That's how I thrive. I am not suited to being a person who has 20,000, 30,000 live concurrent viewers. I'm just not. I like to have a small band. I would, I want to get to a point of maybe 5,000 concurrent, perhaps. Eventually. If I give me 5,000 concurrent, I'll fucking take over the country, you know? Eddie and Jackson. Well, Eddie is mainly on TikTok. And Jackson is very much a long-term thing. You know, Jackson will not simply be a streamer. He's going to come back. When he comes back to this country, he's going to be a leader. You know? But in the meantime, who's going to lead? Who's going to fill the vacuum of Hasan? That's what I want to know. Like, who's going to have the vision for the future? He has a shitty vision right now. He has a wrong vision. He has a fundamentally wrong vision right now. Fundamentally wrong. You're not going to get any objection from me there. Hasan Piker's vision is fundamentally wrong. But that's his strategy. So what's going to be the only other person with an alternative strategy is me. It's just me. And call me a stagist. I don't think his audience is ready. I don't think they're educated enough. I don't think they're advanced enough in terms of their consciousness to get to where we are right now. I'm being totally fucking realistic. Maybe I'm underestimating. I don't think they have an advanced enough consciousness for the infra pill. I don't. And so we're kind of left in this awkward position. Honest to God, it's such a strange, awkward position where I'm Deng Xiaoping and Hasan Piker is becoming Gorbachev, and he's going to balkanize his own following and community that he's built as a bulwark. And remember what Ashley St. Clair said, okay? And I fucking believe it, actually. After the stupid dog thing, I fucking believe it. 100% I believe it, okay? Ashley St. Clair, look what she said.
Fluent.
Look what Ashley Clare said.
So this is like
Not
a
a
random
joke.
question that I have with like MAGA influencers and stuff. Are there influencers on the left who they're kind of like afraid of as being like very like effective or like ones they want to take down?
Yeah, they are very scared of Hasan Piker.
Oh, they are?
That is like the one.
I think it's true. I'm telling you guys, we are like so advanced and shit. But if you're one of these right-wing influencers, the Elon Musk types or whatever, right? Captive Dreamer. The problem, Hasan Piker's always scared them. Why? Because he's a jacked gym bro who carries an illiberal left-wing kernel amidst his otherwise, default shit liberty and Democrat shilling. But there's a kernel of illiberal left-wing something there, and the face of it is this jacked gym bro. Your average leftist male influencer doesn't look like that, okay? So Hasan has always kind of been a quasi-MAGA communist just because of the aesthetics that he has communicated. Now, he squandered it. He started painting his nails and wearing dresses and shit. I think he's past that at this point. But they've always been scared of that. They've always been scared of what aesthetics that communicates and how that could potentially tap into the right-wing influencer pipeline. And that's always been abundantly clear, right? So it's like everyone's wondering probably, like, Haz, why are you not going super hard on this guy? I have to show you. Okay, this is like the original one. Could Theo Vaughn do it? No, he couldn't, because Theo Vaughn is just not educated. It is more beneficial for us that Hasan Piker learns his lesson the hard way, then has an out where he could be like, okay, well, I have a contingency plan, I have a plan B, and then he joins our coalition. I am not vindictive or retributive toward Piker. But maybe I should be. I'm very conflicted about this, by the way. I have certain instincts. Maybe I'm stupid right now. Am I stupid? Once if I'm stupid. I'm quite conflicted, actually. Once if I'm stupid. I think you convert more right-wingers than Hasan. You'd be fucking surprised. There's Hasan viewers that are ready for the infra pill and have always been. Wow, you guys think I'm stupid. 2 people do. Just know that I'm not dogmatic about this. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, I am kind of conflicted about this position that I have. And I agree with the not the ultras. I agree with the left-wing people who are attacking Hasan. I do agree with them. Of course I agree with them. But I'm thinking long-term. Strategically. And, is this a weakness within me? I don't want to destroy Piker. Is this weakness within me? Like, I would kind of be sad if Piker was just destroyed. In the same way that the Chinese were sad about the Soviet Union falling. Even though the Soviets did them so fucking dirty. And were so corrupt. And were very, very bad toward the Chinese. When all was said and done, they're like, the Chinese were kind of just like, but we don't want to see the whole thing destroyed, right? And Haz, why not conquer and absorb his kingdom? I don't know. It's like, because it's the same reason I didn't want to destroy Jason Unruh. There's just this kind of like, well, maybe it's sentimental. Maybe it's like, well, this was part of the pipeline history, and a lot of you guys were Hasan Piker people in the past, and I was never a fan of Piker, but I remember on Twitch when he was fighting with Destiny and how much I was rooting for him to become even more radical. And I don't like annihilating history. I don't like annihilating the past. I don't want to annihilate. I would just prefer that he becomes good, right? But he always remained a snake. You talking about Jason Unruh? Yeah, that's a thing, you know. But I like remember Jason Unruh. Like, I didn't want to destroy him. I didn't want to wipe him out. I just kind of had this strange respect for him, where I was like, well, you were there for a long time, and I would prefer you evolve like we evolve. I want Piker to just evolve. I want him to develop on the pipeline. You know, year 0. I'm being very, like, I'm wearing it on my sleeve how conflicted I am about this. You know, it's like, do I want Piker destroyed? No, I don't want him destroyed. We must defend his integrity. We don't have to defend his fucking integrity, okay? Don't get my words twisted. I'm just saying, like, should I swoop in now and attack? And I'm just kind of thinking, like, I definitely, like, now would be the time, you know, for sure. If I ever was going to go to war with Hasan, now would be the time. But I don't want to, you know? Because what's my angle even? Like, okay, what has changed? He's always been a Democrat, you know? And it's like, what's my pretext for this war? Hasan, I'm going to expose you for being this and that. And it's like, well, I can't bring myself to be a fucking ankle biter. I just can't. He already exposed himself. If you're going to tell me to trust my instincts are to not go to war. My instincts are to sit and wait and watch it all blow up in his face. And then when it does, hope that he has some kind of way of rationalizing that in a way that he can continue to carry what he's built forward and join a new coalition outside of the Democratic Party. That is my God-honest instinct when it comes to this. That's my gut instinct, right? My gut instinct is that I think we should wait. But I also don't want to be the guy who fucks up potential W's from our community. Like, I don't want to censor the community and be like, okay, gag order, nobody can attack Hasan anymore. It's like, well, what if, you know, I don't know. I am perfectly confident that I'm doing the right thing by myself not attacking him. But by telling others, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I'm much less comfortable doing that. I'm much less comfortable if other people have a vision that they can see through. It's like, I don't know. But for me, myself, I just don't want to do it. HP exists because you're good at your... it's not even that. It's not even that. It's like... It's mainly like, you know... If they attack us, we will fight, but we trust your wisdom not to throw the first stone. Here's what I want you guys to do. You know what I would love seeing from the guerrilla army? I'm just going to tell you what I would prefer seeing you guys do. I want you to just continue making rational arguments against his strategy. But set it up in a way where it's like, there is an alternative to what you're doing. You can simultaneously not have to destroy your entire reputation and destroy your entire credibility. He attacked us and liked the tweet calling us CIA. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm aware. For sure, I'm aware. And he in the past had attacked us several times with the Jackson thing and other stuff. But I just keep remembering when we were at war with Nick Fuentes and he threw us that bone. That was fucking useful. That was actually useful. They got fucking scared as fuck. When the prospect of Piker and us coming together to defeat the pro-regime, pro-Epstein pedo community, people were fucking shitting their pants over that. Like, that was a very powerful prospect, you know? Red Ambiance, what's up? I would say that what I would prefer you guys to do is you need to continue. You should make the rational argument and just kind of be like, make the argument, but not in a way that crucifies him. Give him a way out. Give him a way to see the error of his ways. Give him a way to kind of be like, okay, that makes sense. You're right. I was wrong. If you don't give him an out and you corner him, which is what a lot of his former fans are doing, then he may be less. He's going to probably be inclined to double down and continue on the path that he's on. And I mean, this Salin guy's 100% correct. Like, there's no argument. He's 100% correct. Because, like, look what Hasan is saying here.
I have to compromise on trans issues at all, because if you just give people something to vote for rather than constantly vote against.
Yeah, it's especially important you don't. Another reason, it's like, it's not even just about Hasan Piker personally. Like, Rev brings up a good point. When you make this about streamer drama and you just keep attacking Hasan personally, then you are shutting the door on potentially educating a lot of people in his audience. You know? And, like, we're doing the whole video essay thing for a reason. And Hasan's viewers are very loyal to him. And so when your line of attack against Hasan is that he's like a complete piece of shit, shill, sellout, whatever. First of all, I don't think that's completely 100% true even. But second of all, his audience is going to get defensive and be like, well, we've seen other shades of Hasan. We saw the Hasan who was fighting against the neoliberal types. We saw the Hasan that was fighting Ethan Klein. We were there when Hasan went to China. We were there when he would refuse to budge in terms of being critical toward NATO. We were there when he, started normalizing the idea that Israel has no right to exist. We were there when he defended the resistance. We were there when he had the Yemeni guy on stream. So when you paint a one-sided picture of Hasan, his audience is not going to buy it. Or maybe my strategy is fucking wrong. I'm conflicted. I'm openly conflicted about this. Because maybe the people who are like, no, Hasan is like completely fucking unprincipled. Maybe that's also helping his audience be like, yeah, that makes sense. Because we have seen this other shade of Hasan. And this is a total betrayal of that. So we need the most like uncompromising, morally clear opposition. I don't fucking know. My instinct is not that, though. My instinct is the former thing, where like the one-sided picture is not going to work.
The Republicans, then you don't have to fucking talk about the trans shit at all. Then you look silly. Your opposition looks silly. If you're like, hey, I am going to improve your life. I'm going to improve your life. I'm going to fight to improve your life no matter what. That is my primary focus, is my primary purpose. That's all I want to do is improve your motherfucking life. And here are the ways I'm going to do that. We're going to fix public transit in this country. We're going to do high-speed rail in this country. We're going to do, jobs guarantee, federal jobs guarantee. We're going to do social housing. We're going to do free healthcare, free college education. When you say stuff like that, when you put that at the forefront of your campaign, and then your opposition turns around and goes, but what about trans people? What about trans people?
To be clear, it's like the refusal to compromise on trans issues, but the willingness to compromise on Gaza is a very real contradiction that I'm glad is being drawn out. Don't get me mistaken. Like, I'm glad this contradiction is being drawn out. I'm very glad that this is being made transparent. I'm happy to see this happen. I'm very happy that people are starting to understand why. How come you're willing to... This is the axis of polarization. It's fucking true. Why is the left so fucking uncompromising when it comes to cultural politics, but is willing to compromise with fucking Zionists? This guy and his crowd, I'm not friends with them at all, and they don't like me. I don't think I like them. I don't really care, though. I don't really know them. They're drawing out that contradiction. We should draw out that contradiction too. We just shouldn't necessarily do it in a petty, resentful way. We should just do it in an open and honest way. I'm so glad that this contradiction is being finally drawn out, because guess what? If you make it fundamental, you know who else was pretty good on this issue? The Tony One Dime guy. He made a really good argument. He's like, why is the Gaza genocide not the fundamental axis of polarization that decides fascism versus anti-fascism? He's like, why are we prioritizing transgenderism over that? Why are we not willing to compromise with people who don't agree about trans in sports and transgender education, but who are anti-Zionist? Why will we not compromise and work with them? But why will we compromise? And like, you're either going to compromise with those people or you're going to compromise with Zionists. There's no other fucking way. And it's better to compromise with people who are culturally conservative than it is to compromise with people who are pro-imperialist and pro-genocide. I'm sick of Hasan's opportunism. The argument he makes is so fucking wrong. He's like, we need to meet the masses where they're at. Which masses? The masses that are pro-Ukraine? The masses that are pro-NATO? Or the masses that are skeptical of transgender in sports? Because we agree, meet the masses where they're at. But if you want to win a mass ally who is anti-imperialist, you have to compromise with the masses who leftists call transphobic and whatever phobic. You do have to compromise with those people. You can't just exclusively compromise with the people who are materially predisposed and incentivized to support imperialism, because they're a fucking latte-sipping labor aristocracy who gain from imperialism. The urban petty bourgeoisie that's sitting in offices materially benefits from the fucking revenues of imperialism. That's a fact. The latte-sipping urban petty bourgeoisie sitting in their fucking professional offices, they benefit from the financial revenues of monopoly capitalism. Those are not people who are getting paid out on the basis of the fucking material hard work they're doing. They're getting the spoils of financial rents. They are the beneficiaries of the U.S. regime and imperialism. Why are you exclusively willing to compromise with them, but you won't compromise with people who are materially disaligned with the empire, but happen to have some bigoted views on some cultural nonsense? That's always been my fucking gripe. I'm not a fucking purity guy who's like, no, you can only work with people who are already communists. Nobody said that. So it's like, yeah, it's really fucking bad. Yeah, it's bad that he calls all those people hogs. It's bad that he dehumanizes those people and exclusively humanizes people that are closer in proximity to the bourgeois intelligentsia. It's the number one mistake Marxists make, or socialists make, because socialists and Marxists tend to come from the bourgeois intelligentsia. We're not going to crucify them for that, but that's just how it is. The people who have more spare time to read books will tend to be the people who become Marxists. But then they go and they appraise the revolutionary potential of the masses on the basis of how close they are to being bourgeois intellectuals, and not on the basis of how close they are to being materially disincentivized from supporting imperialism. The people materially disincentivized from supporting imperialism will not spontaneously articulate their consciousness in an intellectually correct way. They're going to spontaneously articulate their consciousness as Jew, or it's Illuminati or the lizard people or something else. Spontaneously, they're going to arrive at all sorts of quacky ways of making sense of their disalignment with the system. But those are the people materially disaligned with it. Whereas the people who will virtue signal toward Marxism with greater ease, because they're more intellectual, are fundamental class enemies of the proletariat. Those people might be more disposed to Marxist verbiage and language because they're closer in intellectual proximity to the bourgeois intelligentsia. But as Yanis Veru Baldfuck has said, those people are the beneficiaries of the system. The salaried bourgeoisie. They may be ideologically intellectually more sympathetic to socialism, but are they materially more sympathetic to socialism? No. And there's a big difference between being intellectually sympathetic to socialism and being materially sympathetic to socialism. The material disposition is about when push comes to fucking shove, what the fuck are you gonna do on the October Revolution? The intellectual socialists were outpaced by the masses. You want to know where the Red Terror came from? The peasants. As soon as the peasants discovered what socialism was materially, they said, inject that shit in my fucking veins! I'm gonna fucking put the class enemy in a fucking barrel full of spikes and fucking roll them in the village and fucking crush their bones! The peasants started lynching and burning and killing the class enemy. Immediately when it was clarified to them, Marxism. Immediately on a material level, when revolution and socialism, it was like lightning, it struck, like, what the fuck? I've been missing this shit my whole life. They immediately jumped into action. No hesitation whatsoever. And the socialist intellectuals, they were fucking like, yo, this is fucked up. They're like, okay, I was intellectually sympathetic, but like, what the fuck's going on? They were like, I was intellectually sympathetic, but I didn't know you meant it. Every revolution, that's always what happens. I want to tell you the Bolshevik Red Terror. Do you not know this? I didn't know this until 15 years ago or something. I learned this when I was like 14 years old. Did you know the Bolshevik Red Terror was grassroots? They don't teach you that. The Bolshevik Red Terror was grassroots. Did you know it was the same in China? The terror against the landlords in China was grassroots. Peasants have so much pent-up rage, class rage. And as soon as on a material level they begin to like understand and it becomes clear to them, they explode. And there's no hesitation. There's no intellectual mediation. There's no like, oh, I'm going to wait until I imbibe this through books. They don't give a fuck about books. The minute they get it on them, like the material logic of class struggle becomes evident to them, they jump into action without hesitation. And that terrifies intellectuals. Because intellectuals, their entire reality is mediated intellectually. That's us. We are intellectuals. We are bourgeois intelligentsia. I don't care if you're a proletarian. I don't care if you're a blue-collar worker either. Every single one of us who are in this movement right now are intellectuals. None of us are the logic of mass politics is very different from a bunch of individuals coming together based on a shared worldview, right? We're the people who read books. We're the people who are educated. Again, I don't care if you're a worker or not. You're here because you're educated into it, right? It's an intellectual thing. When this becomes a material logic that grips the masses, it takes on a fucking life of its own that is not mediated at all. The French Revolution was the same shit. It was led by lawyers and smart people. Then when the fucking French peasants fucking got hold of that, oh my God, it was like 10 million thousand January 6s every second of every day over and over again. There's no intellectual mediation. The masses are just breaking shit, destroying shit, smashing the enemy. And that's what terrified all the intellectual elites in Europe about the French Revolution. The fact that there was just this explosion of mass energy that was like, no, we're not going to talk to you about it. We're not going to discuss it. Rousseau became a force that gripped the masses. Nobody was reading or writing down their thoughts before. Nobody was justifying themselves intellectually in these revolutions. Nobody was saying, oh, this is why. And then you want to know why? Because when you justify yourself intellectually, you have this kind of guarantee where it's like, okay, the outcome is going to fulfill this ideal expectation that I wrote in this fucking book, right? But in the Bolshevik Revolution, when the peasants sprang into fucking action and they just started killing their class enemies, and they weren't writing books or reading books while they were doing it. They were just fucking doing it because it made sense to them. There's something about that that scared the shit out of the socialist intelligentsia. They were like, what the fuck? I didn't know it was actually going to be like this. They were like, I read about the frat. They were like, wait, right? And it's like a totally different logic at play. Okay? They were like, wait. Always, every revolution in history, read up, look up, every time it happens, the masses get Iran in 79. So many egghead intellectuals were there. Then when the masses were actually unleashed, wait. Why is there always that hesitation? The hesitation comes from the fact that it's become scary when you witness that the masses actually can understand on an intuitive material level the logic that used to solely be accessible by means of the conscious intellect. The province, the exclusive province of the bourgeois intelligentsia becomes, as Marx said, a force that grips the masses. And that looks scary when it becomes a real material force because it's no longer tethered to or constrained or bound by a specifically intellectual articulation by the individual mind. And it looks very unpredictable, wild, scary, chaotic, and it's very traumatic, actually. That's why they're called terror. Was the Red Terror terrifying because of all the killing and violence? No. There's always been killing and violence. It was terrifying because of the way something that used to be the province of intelligentsia became a material logic that gripped the masses. Same thing in the French Revolution. You know, Mark Twain was right. There was two terrors. There was the long terror of the fucking Middle Ages, where princes and kings would rape and torture and kill people all the fucking time. Nobody gave a shit. The French terror, the unforgivable terror, the real thing that was terrifying about it was how it was an unforeseen future. It was an unforeseen outcome. Nobody knew it was going to fucking happen. The masses were activated. They rose and they got to fucking work. And nobody knew what the outcome of that was going to be. It looked like pure chaos. It scared the shit out of people. Polite society, the intelligentsia, they were fucking terrified. They were like, what the fuck? This is happening. And we are not being consulted about it. The masses, they're just doing it. They're not waiting to get intellectual approval. They're just fucking doing it. This idea that we discovered in our heads turns out to have a material basis out there that's deeper than what's written in these fucking books. That was the terror. That's the essence of the terror that happens during revolutions. Okay? I want to introduce you to this. The mistake Hasan Piker makes is that he wants the revolution to be intellectually mediated. He appraises the potential among the masses on the basis of how intellectually close in proximity they are to the left-wing and socialist position. But in fact, what matters is not the intellectual proximity, but the material proximity. If socialism, if the left is to have any substance whatsoever, then it has to have a material substance, a material logic that the masses can somehow access without having to fucking be bourgeois intellectuals. That must be discovered on the terms of a material logic, not an ideal logic, not an intellectually mediated logic. You must discover the shape of the rage that grips the masses, and you must bow and acquiesce to that shape, even if it finds expression in problematic or wrong forms of consciousness. You must accept the structure, the structural disalignment. You must give that form and leadership. Otherwise, socialism, Marxism, communism has no substance. It has no meaning. The only thing it exists to do is serve and channel the revolutionary and explosive potential and power of the masses. We are supposed to give expression, give leadership, give shape to the rage of the masses. We're not here to dictate it to them. We're here to discover and distill and understand it with the most clarity and the most accuracy. And it's unconditional. It's unconditional that we say we are with the masses. We don't impose the shape of mass rage. We discover it. That's the purpose of Marxism. You discover it. You don't need to educate these bourgeois, petty bourgeois professionals and intelligentsia. Yes, they're easier to educate. They are easier to make intellectually more sympathetic to socialism. But they are a million times harder to materially predispose to socialism. The masses don't need to become bourgeois intelligentsia. They need decisive, practical leadership to guide them. People who tell them what to do, where to go, how they should advance, who is the enemy, what are we to do, what's the practical solution. Peace, land, and bread. Give that to the masses first, and then open the door for them to read Marxism later. For sure. Always teach the masses Marxism. But before you put Marxism in their face, give them some fucking meat and potatoes. Give them something. Give them something to even make them care about learning about Marxism. This is the way forward. I've been consistent about this for the 5 years that I turned on this fucking live button. Yes, I've made mistakes. And yes, I'm far from a perfect person. But if I could scream anything to the heavens, it would be this. Have faith in the people. Trust in the masses. Amila with the 10, what's up? Give yourself to the masses. Trust in the masses. Have faith in the masses. Don't worry if they have incorrect consciousness. That's not the language they speak, is not the same one the bourgeois intellectuals speak. They speak a language of material reality. Give form to that language, and they will follow you. Give them moral guidance and leadership that is material, that speaks to their material reality. They will follow you. Because, and my maxim has always been the same from day fucking one, the masses are good. The shape of the people is good. Sophia is good. She is moral. She is the shape of the moral cosmos. Individually, each and every one of the members of the masses can be dirty, rotten, sick bastards. But the sum of the part, the shape of the masses, is good. And in the soul of every single person, there is an intuitive comprehension of this. That what they're part of, what we are a part of, is good. It makes something good. And not because of any individual moral superiority, but because the masses are good. They cannot help but give way spontaneously to good and correct tendencies, just in as much as there are bad ones. Out of the pits of despair and hopelessness for the bourgeois intelligentsia, the masses, against all odds, spontaneously arrive at the correct position. Eventually they do. Eventually they produce Marjorie Taylor Greenes and Thomas Masseys. Eventually they begin to awaken and realize the world that they're living in. But they need help. They're getting there by themselves without any leadership. It's on us. It's on us to give them the leadership they don't have. Out of the pits of hopelessness, Marjorie Taylor Greene, your bog standard Republican, somehow the light gets through to her because Sophia is good, because the shape of the masses is good. It attempts, it tries against all odds to bring light and good even to the deepest pit of darkness. We must bring them out of the cave. We must unleash the power of the sun. It's yearning to be unleashed. It wants to be unleashed. The masses, they're yearning for what only we could provide them. They're yearning for it. They're crying out for it. They're yearning for our leadership. Only we could give it to them. We need to resurrect the language that we all speak, but we forgot about how to remember. I'm here to resurrect dead languages. I'm here to wage war on established language itself, to help us remember the language we really speak, but we've forgotten. We speak it every single fucking day. The masses speak it. They just forgot. They just forget. They speak it and then they forget. This is the real language that animates and compels the movement of the masses. Why do the masses, against all odds, through all the filth and garbage and shit, why do they go in this tendency? Why is it through the conspiracism post 9/11, the Ron Pauls, the Occupy Wall Street, even the fucking populism of Bernie, and to an extent MAGA, the awakening after COVID, Ukraine, Gaza, now the Epstein files. Why does the development and history of the masses move in this direction? What is the logic compelling that? We alone can distill the essence of what's driving the change among the masses to the revolutionary line and the revolutionary consciousness. One's if we are clear. No one can say that we have no criticism of Hasan Piker. No one can say that we provide no alternative. And yet, for some reason, I think he can see the light. That's the final act of mercy. You want to know the final act of mercy, my gorillas? We hate leftists because we think that they contaminate the order of the Magi. They contaminate the community of the morally enlightened. They defile it. Sacrilege. We hate them because they're abusing and misusing what we love and we have come to embrace really as our comprehensive worldview. We believe in it more than many believe in religions. And we see leftists and we We have a tendency to hate them because they contaminate this moral purity. We forgive Marjorie Taylor Greene. We forgive the backward. We forgive the ignorant because they are not brought up to this kind of moral community that we call the left. And so we hold them to a lower standard. But the final act of mercy, I think, for us, stop elevating leftists to the position of moral superiority in the first place. They too are lost. They too are lost. It's not out of malice that they corrupt our tradition. They are lost. They lack guidance from our tradition. They too are lost. In the way the rightists are lost, they too are lost. They too know not what they do, so to speak. We think that they know and that they choose to be cowards and they choose to be evil. In a way, we attribute to them only moral agency. Partially true for some of them. But for the majority, they too are lost. They too are lost. Hasan Piker too sees not the error of his ways. He too is lost. Hasan Piker needs the guidance of the infrared Sufi order. He's an Ottoman sultan who's lost his way. He needs to visit the infrared Sufi order to gain the moral clarity, to maintain his empire. Otherwise, it will dissolve and balkanize and collapse. This is what I say. And you know who's LARPing with me? You know who's LARPing right alongside of me? You want to know who's LARPing right beside me in terms of this analogy? Hasan Piker is LARPing right there with me. He accepts this LARP. He is the one who created the framing. If you think I'm distancing myself from anti-Zionists or anti-Zionism, you're choosing the British over the Ottoman. That's what he's saying. You're choosing the British over the Ottoman. Piker, if you are the Ottoman, do not go the way of the Ottoman Sultan. Do not go the way of the Ottoman. Humble yourself. Visit the Suf. Gain the clarity. Humble yourself. Go to the caves. Go to the mountains. Visit the Sufi infrared order to replenish your moral clarity. I don't want the Ottoman Empire destroyed either. I want it to fuse with the Safavid Empire, actually. The Ottomans became corrupt. That's why they were ultimately destroyed. The only way to reverse this corruption is the Sultan has to go down, humble himself to the Sufi order and learn. Take the infrared vision pill. You need to accept the Safavi order. We are the Safavi Sufi order. The Kizilbash. This is the truth. This is indeed the truth. If you want to avoid the victory of the British, there needs to be a spiritual revolution within the Ottoman Empire. Otherwise, there's nothing anyone can do. Piker's starting arguments with Saline and Bryan feels less about disagreements and more of a signal to his Democrat owners that he'll gladly distance himself. And he says, I think it's his guilty conscience. And then he goes, I'm not distant. He's really fighting. This is the Civil War. ADL, he's linking how the ADL attacks him. He's linking the Canadian Jewish. The Times of Israel. Jewish groups call on the UK to bar Piker. And he's saying these are the British. He's embracing the same LARP. Don't say I'm a LARPer. He's embracing the same framing, okay? He goes, I don't care about them being in my mentions. All I care about is left to stop endorsing Zionists. I don't give a fuck about anything else. All I care about is left to stop endorsing, promoting Zionists. I don't care about anything else. For example, you met with Bernie 2 times after he exposed himself to be a Jewish supremacist and went against the ceasefire in the worst portion of the genocide. You never even dreamed about treating him like you treat anyone who criticize you from the left. Bernie's a Jewish supremacist and is complicit directly in genocide, and you fully support him. You had a chance to confront him, AOC Mamdani, on their Zionism, support for genocide, betrayal of solidarity with Palestine. You never do. The genocide happened exactly because of 80 years of this type of acceptance of Jewish supremacy in the U.S. and Europe. Yeah. It's not wrong. Can't say it's wrong. And then, you know how this started is here. Okay? Hasan Piker is the one who responded to, this is the original one, only compromise on genocide in Gaza is allowed. Then he responded, yes, I famously compromised on the genocide in Gaza. He got upset. I'll tell you why I think Hasan is genuine. One's if you want to know why I think he might be genuine. One's if you think he might be genuine. If you want to know why I think he might be genuine. You want to know why he's potentially genuine? Genuine? Because he could just ignore this shit. He has the pull, he has the clout, he has the momentum, he has the acceptance of other. It genuinely gets under his skin. It bothers him. Nobody who's ingenuine would be bothered by this shit. He wants to be morally correct in his own heart of hearts. He wants to look in the mirror and say, I'm doing the right thing. I'm on the right path. That's why I say maybe fundamentally he's not a bad guy. He wants to be good. Even he wants to tell himself he could ignore these guys, just like he ignores us. He could ignore them. Who says he can't ignore them? He could just, or maybe he can't. I don't know. What do you think? I'm not claiming to be the expert on Piker. I think maybe he can ignore them. But he doesn't, because it's almost like Saline nuked West. It's almost like he was correct. By the way, don't fucking call yourself nuked West. The only ones who are about some real... It's always been us. Why? Because Russia, Ukraine. We were immediately... Putin! That was us. Nobody is like that. I'm sorry, but you want to be against the West. Why were you not pro-Putin in the SMO in 22? Okay, I'm not saying you have to be totally pro-Putin on everything, but at least be happy that Russia gave a big fuck you to NATO like that, right? But they were hesitant, so I don't take that seriously sometimes, you know? He's a Palestinian refugee. He used to say something weird to me. He said, if the Syrian Mukhabarat, they were bombing you. And I'm like, well, I'm not a Maronite Christian, because some people thought I was a Maronite Christian. Nothing wrong with, I don't hate Maronites, but he was just like, I don't know why he would say that. Syria was allied with the... He said, no, they don't care. They're bombing you too. I said, okay. I mean, what the hell? He was like anti-Assad or some shit, right? I don't know. Whatever. In any case, I think Piker is guilty. He has a guilty conscience, like the Saline guy said. And somebody who has a guilty conscience is not fundamentally evil. You know, they still have inability to see what they're doing is wrong, or they're conflicted about it, or it bothers them that people see that they are, maybe they think in their heart of hearts they're doing the right thing, but they're a little insecure about it. And then I couldn't even believe this. This guy, I always thought he was part of the Hasan horde. The Hasan, I don't want to call him a horde. We're the horde. But the Hasan space, and he's like, oh, you're so salty. I'm like, damn. There's a fucking civil war going on. And then this guy, or I don't know. This guy's 100% Zio plant clout chaser. Watch their debate with Destiny. He's also an incel. Woo, woo. Let's play Paradise from Coldplay. Just for the nostalgia, You know what I mean? For the nostalgia. I don't know why this song is coming to my mind. All the times from 21, 2021. On Twitter, I'm sentiment and nostalgic. I remember the days when this was a thing. We just come a long way, We just come a long way. And this is like an OnlyFans girl or some shit. We just come a long way. We come a long way. We just come a long way.
When she was just a girl.
Alright, I don't like this part. Shut the fuck up. When she was, shut the fuck up, bitch ass, fucking millennial fucking bitch. It's like, when you have a good melody, just stick with it. I don't want to fucking hear your ugly, retarded voice. Anyway, do anyone understand what I mean by that? Like, really good, woo, everything's going great, and then he's just, when she was, just shut the fuck up. Literally. Anyway, I'm genuinely nostalgic I just feel like we've come a long way. Guys, doesn't this remind you of me in 2021? I was this guy in 2020, this Arab, Uncle Tom Arab, this house Arab. That's what he is. He's a house Arab. Back in the day, when I was the one talking about this shit, everybody was swarming me. These OnlyFans, leftist girls, e-girls, everybody was swarming me because I was saying, what about the Democrats? Why are we Democrats? Everybody was swarming me. And then that's how they started calling me an incel. I'm going to reveal some embarrassing shit. The reason I believe in manifestation a lot. So when everyone started calling me an incel, I randomly was starting to trip. I was like, am I never going to get pussy ever again now? Because everyone's manifesting that I'm an incel. And I was like, I got to fight that fucking bad manifestation. Like, I got to fight that energy they're putting out there. I was genuinely like, what the fuck? People are like, why are you so insecure? Bro, because I believed in manifestation, for real. I was like, fuck. It was like a hex. It was like a hex. You guys think I'm joking? I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding, bro. I'm not kidding. I thought it was like a hex. I was so like rattled by it. I was like, fuck. You're destroying. And it was so metaphysical for me because it was like, it's not just I will never get pussy again. It's more like, we're going to kill your energy and cut you off from the cosmos. You guys need to understand, like, I used to read into shit very superstitiously. I was not totally fully trained when it comes to this mystical worldview that I've always had, right? I used to think there's always an unconscious meaning. So when people used to call me an incel, I was like, so what you're really saying is that you're manifesting that I'm just cut off from the cosmos. I'm going to be trapped in this bad karmic cycle where the unity of opposites will not, like, it's not even about like on a personal level getting pussy. It's like you're going to put me into like a metaphysical death where I'm going to be cut off from the cosmos. I'm going to be cut off from like the metaphysical unity of opposites, so to speak. And I'm going to be doomed to this kind of like completely impotent, spiritually impotent position. And it fucking rattled me. I literally was reading into it. What, this guy's saying Allah. Why are you talking about Allah? Who mentioned Allah? What are you talking about? Nasty, weird person. Anyway, so, but you know what? I still have, it's not necessarily nostalgia. It's kind of like, we come a long way. Like, we have moved past this, and they're still stuck at there. That's what I'm trying. That's why I wanted to play Paradise by Coldplay. Because it reminds me of how much you guys may lose morale, or you may become sad, and you may be like, you know, it's not the best time. But there's still, this guy is literally welcome to being Haz in 2021. That's where he's at on his spiritual journey. He's literally not even there, by the way, because he's not going to survive that encounter like I did. But he is just starting to face the conflict we were embroiled in 5 years ago. I know he's an Arab. He's a fucking house Arab. Because he joined the chorus of Yakubian swarm leftist attacks on me in 21. He joined them. I was an Afro-Asiatic Mediterranean Arab male. I was under attack. Where was the Arab side? That's why I don't fuck with them. Where were they? The house Arabs all were not there for me. So I'm not Arab no more, especially after Jolani. I don't fucking roll with that label no more. I'm Tartarian now. Y'all are my people. Y'all, we are Tartarian. Y'all are my people. Y'all are my people. These leftist Arabs, they left me in the dust. I was being besieged by these Yakubian witches. They were placing hexes on me and shit. Nobody was praying for me. Except y'all. Rev was there. Rev was there. Y'all were there. Orvo was there. Sigma was there, I think. Volk was there. Jennifer was there. Mig was there. I remember my day ones. Y'all are my new race. Every single one of you. I don't care what race you came from. You're Tartarian now. You're part of the Tartarian tribe. I am too. I don't give a fuck about any other ethnicity. My only race is Tartaria. Straight up. End of the day, that's all I give a fuck about. And I look at this guy who's being canceled with these hexes that I used to be. It wasn't a hex. I was autistic as fuck. But, you know, that was really autistic of me. I'm not gonna lie. It was autistic as fuck, right? I will say that. It was really autistic. The way that I used to think every attack on me was like a hex because I believed in manifestation. You see, I had unconcentrated mystical insight. Manifestation's real, but that's how I thought it worked was not how it works, right? So even Zerka used to be so shocked. He used to be like, bro, why are you tripping all the fucking time? I'm like, bro, they're manifesting that shit. I was like, only manifestation exists, right? I didn't even believe reality exists. Only the like nothing matters. Zerka was like, bro, Haz, why do you care that everyone's calling you 5'1"? You're not 5'1". I'd be like, bro, they're manifesting that shit. Yeah, I'm not now, but they're shaping my future. They're trapping me in a dungeon. I used to think that like even reality didn't matter. All that mattered was what was me being manifested. I was like, bro, I'm already short. I don't want to lose more inches. I was like, I'm already short. I don't want to lose more. I want to keep what I have. It was like I was being hexed and cursed. That's how I was thinking. That's how I was moving back in the day. I was like, fuck, I don't want to be cursed and hexed. What the fuck? I got to stop this. Genuinely. Pretty autistic, though.